John has a very comfortable home studio setup and a nice house that we can sleep over in. So it's like, yeah, and it's super fun because as a musician, what's more fun than like, hey, it's like come over to my house to play, right? When you were a kid and have a sleepover. That's what we're doing. It's awesome. It's kind of like when Zeppelin got it together in the country or whatever, but only 3 days at a time.
The rules that existed in recording music up until 10, 15 years ago don't apply now. You can be a totally independent artist. You can make everything at home if you want, and it still can meet or exceed the quality of many multi-$100,000 studio recordings. So why not? The more control we can have, the more we are able to create ourselves, the better. Moved to Philadelphia in 2011 from Savannah, and we initially had this rehearsal space way north of the city. It was like just total pain in the ass to get to. And when we were writing Yellow and Green, I decided that I was going to figure out how to write or how to record music. Ever since then, I've just really developed an interest in being self-sufficient as a recorder, and at least like my thought process is that if I'm going to pay top dollar to a producer and engineers to record my music and put my faith and trust in them, because I'm neurotic and I have some control issues, I guess you'd say, like, I want to know what they're doing. And that the idea of me wanting to at least see somebody working on my music and understand from at least a fundamental standpoint what they're doing has driven me to spend countless hours and countless dollars on building a studio that effectively just works for the band. And I've recorded other bands for sure, but I've developed a system by which I feel we can, maybe I'm totally wrong on this, but I feel like we can save money by investing our money in a home studio, so that the extraneous stuff we do, or the fun stuff we do, or the really time-consuming stuff that we do, that's not essential to be in a professional studio environment to accomplish, I would like to do at home.
He eventually set up really like a home studio. Like him and I got together, and I helped him build some of the acoustic panels and different stuff like that, and just kind of got his whole setup going to enable Baroness to record there. And we tracked a lot of elements of this record in John's basement.
I've basically been learning from Dave for the past 4 or 5 years. I just learn by watching. I don't expect producers to stop and explain what they're doing as they go. So I just keep my eyes open and I watch, and I try to soak in as much as I can from world-class engineers and producers. I get some of it, and then the rest of the time I spend on, online or reading books or reading magazines, or you name it. Like, you just learn where you learn, and then use it.
Just seeing how, John works. John is an extreme person. He sees things through to the end when he starts doing them. I like that, I'm not really good at that. I'm always just like, I'll do this. I'm like, okay. It's like wandering around, like being interested in a bunch of things, But he can really focus on detail of things and finish them out.
The way that John works is pretty intense and I'd say grueling. That's a compliment. Like, he just will work on something and whittle away at it, and just tirelessly and endlessly. And I feel like for this album process, I was like, yeah, I want to be by this dude's side, seeing this go down and contributing and being in this with him, because I've just never really experienced somebody that works as hard as John does on something.
The funny thing is, I just think that all of us, the way we play and write, we're just kind of intense people. And there were times on the album that we're like, oh, we're gonna write something that's a little bit, you know, more relaxed, more chill groove. And then when we listen to the final version, we're like, this is totally not chill. This is still totally intense, you know? Like, we're chilling out now, you know? Like, even the halftime stuff, even the psychedelic stuff still has this, like, really, I don't know, I keep on saying the word intense, but I think that's a good thing. I think that's the way we are. I think it's kind of, it's the way I play drums, it's the way everybody else plays their instruments, the way everybody writes, it's the way John sings and Gina sings. It's just the way we are. I think that the band has had so many, you know, slight genre shifts that to keep intense as a thing is good.
This is a group of people that is like not complacent. I think that's why this record is so different than the last record. And for John and the band as his whole history, things keep changing. It's good. This is a group of people that's just like never content. Never. That's why we're like miserable and happy at the same time, you know? Because like we're getting to mess with this stuff, but it's insanely frustrating and we're never satisfied, you know? Which I think is a great place to be.
What comes to mind first?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Just
Simple question. Simple answers to simple questions. Okay, Front Towards Enemies, first track. It's a heavy song. We did one. Yay!
we kind of took just this really, really simple chord progression and turned it into more of like a riff-based thing. But I think that song is cool because it has this weird bridge, like breakdown thing with kind of like psychedelic vocal part over it. And the thing like the four of us were talking about is like, it's really cool with that is because it's kind of foreshadowing the rest of the album. It's like, all right, it sounds like a sort of normal like rock, riff-based song, but then it's got this weird like psyche vocal part over the bridge, kind of foreshadowing like what's to come on the rest of the record. I guess that's what comes to mind when I think of that song.
Front Toward Enemy, intricate, incessant riffs.
First song is Front Towards Enemy. That's like our just kick-ass riffer, you know. And that was one that John wrote in between the two sessions. And like, John just disappeared into his basement and didn't respond to anything for like 2 weeks and came out with that song, you know. And it was awesome, turned out. It's one of my favorite songs on the record, you know. Super driving, really cool riff and awesome arc to that song, you know. And that was like, nothing changed from what he came up with, you know. A little tweaks here and there, but it's just like, here's what I wrote, and we were like, awesome. Thank God you wrote something. Thank God you were doing something while you were ignoring us.
Oh wait, I do know something else with that song. In the studio, I don't know. Speaking of like Dave getting stoked on things, yeah, I remember like that breakdown in the studio. This is really stupid. Somebody else should probably talk about this, not me. But like, I had it like stuck in my head on a loop to like remember the guitar rhythm on like the breakdown, I was like walking around the studio going like, this is so cool, it's fucking sick, it really rules, it really fucking rocks, this is so sick, it's fucking cool, it's really sick, it really fucking rocks. And Dave thought that was really dumb and maybe funny. Don't put that in there. This is so cool, it's fucking sick, it's super rad, it really fucking rocks. This is so cool, fucking sick, and super rad, and really fucking rocks.